So to recap SQL injection, it's very, very important to look for abnormalities when you're sending a request. SQL injection could be very, very tedious. There are a ton of good tools out there that does it, but it really comes down to actually understanding how it works. The way I look at a SQL injection is always reminding myself that I'm somewhere in a SQL query. We don't know where, we have to figure it out, and that's kind of obvious when it comes down to the application or the part of the application that you're attacking. So for example, if you're updating something and you have a SQL injection, more than likely you are in an update statement where you have to figure out how to put your next query in it and how to end that previous one. If you're just viewing something like you go into article.php ID equals to something, that's fetching data, you know you're in a select and you want to break out of that current select query and add your own query to it. When it comes down to blind SQL injection, it could get very, very tricky. You have to understand exactly where you are. With regular SQL injection, it gives you a hint. It tells you, hey, your SQL query and update has this error, but you don't have this luxury when it comes down to blind SQL injection. So you want to make sure you understand where you are, how to end it, and what are you going to abuse, what functionality are you going to abuse. Is it a sleep? Is it a benchmark? What the backend is, to make sure you make it a time-based or a Boolean-based attack where it tells you if the statement that you have sent it is true or false. Take some time, go back and review all these slides from this chapter. Make sure you understand how SQL injection works and spend some time with different labs, including the ones included in this course, and make sure you get very familiar with it. SQL injection could be very, very lucrative. They're just hard to look for, and you have to just pay attention to everything that's happening around the application and knowing where to look for it. So places that I like to look for it is anywhere that I see an ID, some sort of an identification that's a numerical thing that says, hey, I want you to fetch this data. Not really in an API, I don't look for those. They are sometimes valid, you can see them in REST API, but in other ways, when you see a question mark, some parameter looking to a number, you can try SQL injection there. If you see a post request where it's changing data, it says ID, quotation mark 1, you want to go ahead and look and see if that is also vulnerable to a SQL injection. So again, don't be afraid of putting a quotation mark here and there. Look for the error that comes back. If it hints for a SQL injection, then just try and exploit it. And if not, just move on to the next vulnerability type.